Chapter 4230. Madam Host, bad news. He-Lei is on the hot search list. The topic is about He-Lei and the female lead having a late-night discussion about the script. The haters on the internet are mocking them. They are saying that He-Lei and the female lead don't have many scenes together and that he should be with Qing Xian. They are saying that they are using the script as an excuse to have a secret relationship. Did Qing Xian do this? System. That's right. Recently, the female lead has been releasing all sorts of negative news about Qing Xian. Although it's not a big deal, it still has an impact on her. In particular, the route that she wanted to take has been completely ruined by the female lead. In order to divert attention, she has decided to tie He-Lei and the female lead together to hype up their relationship. Ever since He-Lei's drama was broadcast, she had attracted a lot of attention. Since he was a popular young actor, he was most afraid that people would hype up their relationship with him. Tanguy checked the situation. So far, the female lead didn't seem to have any intention of explaining. However, He-Lei gave her a call. Currently, a lot of people were asking about the situation on his Weibo. After all, it wasn't a simple matter if news of a late-night scene got out. I'll deal with the matter on the internet. Xiaolei, you don't have to worry about it. Go do what you need to do. With Tanguy's words, He-Lei was relieved. He believed that his manager would be able to deal with this kind of small problem easily. Meanwhile, the agency also gave Tanguy a call. When they found out that Tanguy had a plan, they were slightly relieved. Speaking of which, there were quite a few popular artists in Morningstar Entertainment right now in Tanguy's hands. If their predictions were correct, the remaining few would also blossom in different colors. Tongzi, can you help me pull up Xiaolei's filming schedule for the past few months? Especially his movements at night. As long as there are surveillance cameras, you can find a backup, right? Yes, Madam Host. Please wait a moment. Tanguy felt that her Tongzi was quite capable. As long as there were surveillance cameras in this world, he could pull them up. Wasn't it easy to prove that He-Lei was innocent? As long as she could pull up the footage of He-Lei every night, anyone who wanted to tie him up would end up worse off. While the system was busy, Hao Yi came to the room. You also saw the rumors on the internet? When Tanguy saw Hao Ye's expression, she knew that he knew about it. She could feel that Hao Yi hated those marketing accounts that created rumors, created trouble and created stories. Qing Xian only gave them 2 blurry photos, reminding them that they might be He-Lei and the female lead. Now, the marketing account took this opportunity to fabricate all kinds of stories. In just a few hours, all kinds of stories about the relationship between He-Lei and the female lead were made up, as if there was really something going on between them. The female lead didn't panic because Qing Xian had stolen half of her limelight. It was as if Qing Xian was the female lead. She was so angry that she exposed some of Qing Xian's scandals. She had not expected that there would be rumors about her and He-Lei on the internet. Other female artists might have rejected such rumors, but not her. His glory had been suppressed, and now was the perfect opportunity to show his face. Black and red were still red. When the time came, he could clear his name and let the matter ferment for a while. It would be best if He-Lei's fans came and scolded her. The worse the better. Then passers-by would sympathize with her. On the other hand, He-Lei would lose a lot of popularity and passers-by would have a good impression of him. In short, she wouldn't lose out. Peak. Chapter 4231. Something's not right. There's almost no sign of He-Lei's fans scolding you, the female lead's manager said doubtfully. The female lead was prepared not to look at Weibo for the next few days. After all, it was uncomfortable to be scolded. When the manager said that, she quickly looked. Indeed, there were no signs of He-Lei's fans scolding her. Her own fans, on the other hand, were more emotional. They asked her if she was really in a relationship with He-Lei. There were also many fans who had already written small papers below. When the female lead saw this, she was so angry that she almost fainted. What made her even angrier was that there was a hot comment below He-Lei's fans. If you are Brother Xiaolei's fans, please don't be agitated. Don't be affected by those groundless marketing accounts. Everyone who is Brother Xiaolei's fan knows his character. If anything happens, he will definitely give us a reasonable explanation. We reject online violence and start with us. If this matter was made up by someone and you scolded an innocent artist here, then you're smearing Brother Xiaolei's reputation. We're not sisters anymore. Let me say this first. Before there's evidence, those who scold other artists are not Brother Xiaolei's fans, nor are they my sisters. As Brother Xiaolei's fans, before there's evidence, not talking nonsense is the best protection for Brother Xiaolei. In short, I believe in Brother Xiaolei. The female lead realized that He Lei's fans were all checking in under this hot comment. They all believed that Brother Xiaolei would give them an explanation. This hot comment was posted by a big fan in the system's guidance group. As expected, the fans of Tanggua's artists were all trained by him. Other than the occasional rat poop that he fired, they were all very obedient. Now the fans were all like this. Whenever they encountered something, the big fans would guide them in the group and lead the rhythm. They were all used to thinking more and wouldn't be like brainless flies that laid eggs everywhere. Tanggua temporarily took over He Lei's Weibo because he had to work now and didn't have time to deal with these things. She saw that most of the comments were fans waiting for an explanation. She posted, "He Lei, everyone please wait. I'll give you a reasonable explanation soon. I'm currently collecting evidence. I'm very happy to see that you're all so rational." Posting a message to calm people down could be considered as a reassurance pill for the fans. It would probably take a few hours for the system to organize the information. After all, He Lei had been filming for a few months. He had to filter them out one by one and select the useful ones. In order to prevent some people from making an issue of it, they would choose a video website and upload the complete video as well as the edited video. In front of the evidence, who could defame He Lei? "Do you want to sue those marketing companies?" Hao Yi asked. Tanggua shook her head. "This matter will be over soon. Some people will think that we are making a mountain out of a molehill. You should prepare to discredit your marketing accounts. After all, it's rumored that you're being kept by a rich woman. The nature of it is quite bad." Yeah, that's right. Suing those marketing accounts at this time doesn't seem to be very friendly to Xiaolei. I want to sue those people before the show airs. What Hao Yi meant was that he would not take any jobs for the time being. Go ahead. You can rest for a while. Work has to be done step by step. Only when you have a good rest will you be able to focus better. With Tanggua's permission, Hao Yi went to prepare. Within a few days, all the major marketing accounts received subpoenas. Chapter 4232. Hao Yi had found out about their identities through the proper channels. These accounts all had their own companies and it was easy to find them. The marketing accounts that received the subpoena were stunned. After being in the marketing business for so many years, this was the first time they had encountered such a situation. Tongzi, help Hao Yi out. Make Weibo malfunction. We cannot delete the post during this period of time. Sometimes you have to use extreme methods. Since you want to hit a dog, you have to hit it hard. Only then will it learn its lesson. Okay, host. The system secretly laughed. Sure enough, the host was biased. Wasn't this like a domineering CEO doting on her husband? Her husband did whatever he wanted and she supported him. After receiving the subpoena, the accounts came back to their senses. They felt that it was funny and at the same time worried. After finding out who was suing them, they even posted the subpoena with pictures and words. The general idea was that a certain celebrity wanted to sue them. After posting this blog post, they used another account to speculate who the artist was and exposed his identity. Wasn't he Hao Yi who had caused a stir in the past? Many people felt that Hao Yi was trying to create hype. After all, he had been a celebrity for a long time and he needed some publicity. After Qidong's side knew about it, they started to slander Hao Yi crazily. These were all fabricated stories. If they didn't clarify, it would be easy for others to make an issue out of it. Hao Yi wasn't angry at all. He recorded all the accounts that were slandering him in a small notebook. He also sued those netizens who scolded his family and insulted him. The accounts felt that it was about time. Hao Yi wouldn't be able to get away with it. Hence they decided to delete the post secretly. After all, the subpoena was real. They couldn't leave the evidence behind. However, they didn't expect that their post couldn't be deleted. Thousands of people. The accounts panicked. They immediately went to ask the Weibo officials. The officials were also very anxious. They said that the system was under maintenance and they couldn't delete the post temporarily. Many people didn't know about it. They were still scolding and defaming Hao Yi. They started all kinds of rumors and insults. Hao Yi was overjoyed. He didn't expect to sue so many people at once. It was a big project. He felt that he couldn't handle it alone, so he asked his friends to help him. After collecting enough evidence, Hao Yi sued all the people who started the rumors. When someone exposed this news, there was a brief moment of silence on the internet. Then everyone started discussing in disbelief. When they were discussing, they were more mindful of their words and did not dare to use profanities to humiliate the other party. Someone revealed that Hao Yi had retired from the industry a few years ago and went to study law. So it seemed an artist with a lawyer's license would personally handle the case. In addition, he also asked his classmates to help him. It was said that there were too many people suing him and he couldn't handle it alone. This time they even applied to make it public, which meant that they could watch it live on the internet. In this day and age, many things could be broadcasted publicly. Hao Yi was going to file a lawsuit for himself. This trending topic immediately shot up. Qi Dong, who was still gloating about Hao Yi, felt his lips twitch when he saw this. Now he could no longer spend his money. Those marketing accounts had all been sued, and the rest did not dare to accept any tasks related to Hao Yi. After all, no one wanted to be sued. Some marketing accounts were more gentle when they used Hao Yi. They even had some praises for him. They said that as an artist, Hao Yi was actually able to use the weapon of law to protect his own interests. He was really a special artist. System host, these marketing accounts are simply hilarious. Critics. Chapter 4233. Hao Ye's old fans were also stunned. Was their good brother traumatized by the marketing accounts? Was that why he went to study law? Was he waiting for this day to come? To be honest, this ending was what they wanted to see. Their good brother was indeed a man of few words. He was still as strong as before. Those who were Hao Ye's fans were also shocked. So they were impulsive. What kind of artist did they become fans of? She could actually use her own knife to sue those marketing accounts that made up stories? No, even if he took leave from work, they had to watch this live broadcast. There were even people who wanted to watch it live. The direction of Hao Ye's slandering changed. At this moment, Hao Yi posted on his blog, "In this online world, I really hope that everyone can be responsible for what they say. Perhaps your unintentional rumor will cause serious psychological damage to someone. 7 or 8 years ago I encountered such a thing. Now that I'm back and have just taken on a drama, I've encountered such a thing again. But I'm already different from 8 years ago. This time I can protect myself." Hao Yi was on the hot search list again. This time many people saw his post and went to find out what had happened back then. The system became the internet's inquisitor and turned what had happened back then into an article to explain to everyone. This article was written based on Hao Ye's own experience. Hao Ye's fans were heartbroken when they saw it. If it was someone else who had encountered such a blow, they might not be able to stand up again in their lifetime, let alone study law. The violence of online language could affect many people's lives. Some people who were mentally weaker might even end their lives because they couldn't figure it out. Isn't it too cruel to kill a person on the internet with just some groundless accusations? There was still some time before the court hearing. Hao Yi was on the hot search list every day, so He Lei's incident became less popular. However, she said that she needed to give her fans an explanation. After preparing the evidence, Tenghua asked the system to upload the evidence onto the video website. Tenghua posted the link to the website on He Lei's latest post. The fans could see it when they clicked on it. The netizens had yet to recover from the shock of Hao Yi wanting to sue the marketing account when they encountered He Lei's clarification. There was no need to say much about the system's editing. It was definitely perfect. It was split into 2 videos. One was complete, and the other only had He Lei's whereabouts. The time and date were written on it. Now that there were surveillance cameras everywhere, it was easy to find these things. And there was a paragraph below the blog post. "We originally wanted to find all the videos of Ms. Zhong Xiang in the past few months together, but we didn't communicate well." Weibo had been out of order for several months, and the marketing account could not delete the evidence. All kinds of ugly words were clearly displayed on it. This was the most powerful evidence. Hao Yi didn't need these people to pay compensation. He only needed them to apologize in court and post a blog post. The Weibos and the netizens' classmates. These classmates shook hands with Hao Yi with smiles on their faces. "Old classmate, if anyone dares to spread rumors about you in the future, feel free to roar in the group. Use good friends is a good thing you use." They really couldn't afford to offend him. Hao Ye's classmates still felt that this was a good thing. Yes, it was a good thing for them. After all, they were all famous now. After the case, all the defendants took out their phones and apologized to Hao Yi on Weibo. Hao Ye's classmates also received calls saying that someone was looking for them. They were all smiling and looking at Hao Yi excitedly. Tangwa walked to Hao Ye's side. She saw that the gloomy look on his face had disappeared. She knew that the knot in his heart had been untied. Go. You've protected your interests. Now it's time to go back to work. You've already wasted half a year. Oh yes, the drama is going to be broadcast next month. A TV station bought the exclusive rights. Needless to say, this drama would definitely be a hit. Hao Ye's radiance could not be suppressed. Peak. Chapter 4235. Just as Tangwa expected, when "I Only Want to Rule the World" was first announced, everyone was looking forward to the plot because Hao Ye was the main lead. Many people heard that the original owner of the body was there, so they went to read the original novel before it was broadcast. She heard that many of the props in the drama were sponsored by Tangwa, especially Hao Ye's clothes. Every piece of clothing was sponsored by her. Just the trailer and photos alone were enough to attract people's attention. On the first day of broadcast, the drama was a hit. In the following days, the viewership ratings increased every day. In this drama, they got to know Hao Ye again. The emperor was clearly a serious character, but for some reason the plot always made them laugh. Of course, Qidong was also paying attention to this matter. Seeing that Hao Ye became popular so quickly after his comeback, he was a little angry, but there was nothing he could do. He did have a lot of connections in the industry and he had a lot of resources. It was easy to mess with a small artist, but the other party's status in the industry was not low, so he did not dare to do anything openly. It would be disadvantageous to him if people caught him red-handed and spread the news. Moreover, he could not afford to offend Hao Ye now. Before "I Only Want to Rule the World" was broadcast, he even bought marketing accounts to criticize the drama, but he did not expect that the marketing accounts would not accept the job at all. What was more infuriating was that these marketing accounts turned around and posted information about "I Only Want to Rule the World." They were all praises. It was not that these marketing accounts wanted to praise Hao Ye, but they had to apologize honestly after being sued by Hao Ye. Who would feel good about it? They praised Hao Ye's drama just to ride on his popularity. If they said good things to ride on his popularity, Hao Ye should not be able to sue them, right? They had read every sentence carefully. There was no insult in it, so Hao Ye could not sue them. Madam Host, now those marketing accounts are constantly praising Hao Ye and have not given up on riding on his popularity. Will they have a bad impact on Hao Ye? Yes, it will indeed leave a bad impression on passers-by. I'll give you a task. Go to their blog and tell any marketing accounts that want to ride on Hao Ye's popularity to let go of Hao Ye and stop riding on his popularity. They are disgusting Hao Ye. If they talk too much, passers-by will be able to tell that they are deliberately disgusting Hao Ye. When the time comes, they will stand on Hao Ye's side. All right, Madam Host. In addition, Tang will plan to find a job for Hao Ye where he would not show up for half a year so that he could focus on acting. Hao Ye didn't like to show his face on the internet, so he worked hard. Time will prove everything. When the time comes, those marketing accounts will collapse on their own. After "I Only Want to Rule the World" became popular, many people came to look for Hao Ye. The scripts that could be seen now were all better. Among them, Tangwa chose one for Hao Ye. As for endorsements, she did not accept any of them. Hao Ye did not seem to want to accept endorsements. It just so happened that she didn't really want to endorse Hao Ye anyway. Qing Xian hadn't been having a good time recently. The fact that she had secretly given birth to a child was already a fact. The news about her and the child that was exposed on the internet wasn't ambiguous at all. Someone had even posted a picture of the child on the internet. It turned out that the mess that Qing Xian had left behind had been taken over by her. He had a child out of wedlock, smoked, drank, acted like a big shot, and had a bad temper. Chapter 4236. There was evidence for everything. She had just acted in a good drama, but her reputation was ruined. With the help of the Internet Water Army, she was seriously boycotted by the netizens. Qing Xian wanted to start a new job, but she couldn't. After learning about Qing Xian's situation, Tangwa recalled the original plot in her mind. The original plot was that Qing Xian's career was very smooth at the beginning. She became famous quickly because of the role of Miyashua. Then she started a new job and accidentally met the child's biological father. The child's biological father investigated Qing Xian and found out that she gave birth to a child. Then he found out that the child was his. Then this domineering Xiao often came to see Qing Xian and the child. He established a father-son relationship with the child early on. In addition, Qing Xian used to smoke and drink. This domineering CEO automatically thought that it was because Qing Xian was annoyed after she got pregnant and couldn't bear to lose the child. That was why she was so dispirited. He even helped to erase all the traces. So, even if someone wanted to defame Qing Xian, there was no evidence. Even if someone later exposed that Qing Xian secretly gave birth to a child, this domineering CEO directly stood up and announced his identity. He even said that Qing Xian was his wife. Who would check if they had a marriage certificate? They thought that the domineering CEO had personally admitted it. Then everyone only cared about the couple. But now the situation was different. Qing Xian couldn't start a new job and missed the opportunity to meet the child's father. There was no way to undo everything that had happened. Zhong Xiang, the female lead of the previous drama, had always hated Qing Xian. She hired Internet Water Army one after another. It seemed that she was going to kill Qing Xian. She even hired someone to take photos of Qing Xian's child and published it. Qing Xian was furious, but there was nothing she could do. Suddenly, she remembered that Hao Yi had sued the marketing account and an idea came to her mind. The Internet Water Army exposed her child. That was the biggest mistake. So this time she might be able to make a comeback with this child. Love to read. The next day, Tanguo was notified by the system that Qing Xian had posted a long blog post. The title was a request from a mother. The general idea of the post was that everyone could scold her and criticize her. In the past, she was indeed young and immature. She had done many wrong things. These were all things that everyone deserved to be scolded. But she wanted everyone to scold her. Why did she have to implicate an innocent child? She regretted it was her fault as a mother. That was why her child was bullied at a young age. Her heart ached for the child's suffering. She hoped that the netizens would be merciful and delete the child's photos. In short, it was a mother crying out for her child. She directly admitted her mistake and apologized, saying that she was young and immature. He also used the child to arouse the sympathy of the netizens. Sure enough, as soon as the blog post came out, most of the comments were made by mothers with children. They all said that it was not easy for single mothers to raise children, and that the things that Qing Xian did were not particularly bad. It's just that when you're young, don't many people have problems like smoking and drinking? Who knew what kind of story there was behind having a child out of wedlock? She was able to raise a child on her own and even admitted her mistake. That was already very great. Host Qing Xian has cleared her name. More importantly, her mistake is not a big problem. It is indeed not easy for a single mother to raise a child. Everyone is in her shoes. Peak. Chapter 4237. At present, there were many people who spoke up for Qing Xian on the internet. Once someone attacked Qing Xian again, they would be drowned by their comments. Why couldn't these people let go of a single mother? Seeing this, Qing Xian knew that she had made the right move. Actually, at first she wanted to take advantage of Hao Yi and sue those who exposed her child. But later she thought that it would take too long to do this, and the reward was not proportional to the effort. After thinking about it, she decided that it would be better to act pitiful. In today's society, people said that it was not easy for a woman to raise a child. Moreover, she was a single mother, so it was even harder. Sure enough, the final result was what she wanted to see. Now, there were even programs that invited her to do interviews. At present, she had not found a good script and could not start a new job, so she agreed to the program's invitation. At this time, she could show her positive image and let everyone know that Qing Xian was different now. Qing Xian was also a little depressed. If the original owner had not left such a big mess for her, she would not have to work so hard. Previously, she had taken a fancy to some roles and wanted to audition, but in the end she was attacked. She could guess who was attacking her. It was very likely to be Zhong Xiang. The only people who had a conflict of interest were the other party. Qing Xian reported to the higher-ups about the program. She did not say much about her relationship. Basically, it revolved around raising a child and filming these years. She had successfully molded herself into a tough single mother. After seeing it, many netizens were guessing who the child's father was. Why did he not care about Qing Xian and the child? Was he a scumbag? Some people also guessed that Qing Xian was a mistress and secretly gave birth to the child. But this theory was quickly refuted. How could a mistress who gave birth to a child have such a bad life? How could she be attacked on the internet? If the child's father was really a rich man, wouldn't it be easy for him to raise two people? Anyway, Qing Xian had passed this obstacle. After the interview, her popularity increased a little. There were more fans who were married and had children. This group of fans could not bear to see Qing Xian being attacked by anyone. Zhong Xiang seemed to be at odds with Qing Xian. No matter what role Qing Xian wanted, Zhong Xiang would interfere. Qing Xian's acting skills were indeed better than Zhong Xiang's. If it was not for the power of capital, she would not be able to win against Qing Xian. Even if she had the power of capital, Zhong Xiang could not get all the roles. If she dared to cause trouble in this industry, it would make the director dissatisfied and it would be exposed. Qing was smart. She knew that Zhong Xiang wanted to sabotage. She chose one of the many roles and pretended that she was satisfied and went for the audition. As expected, Zhong Xiang fell for it and snatched the role. Qing Xian waited for Qing Xian's to audition. Are you? Is. Then you don't have to pay attention to it. If there are any good scripts in the future, just keep an eye on them. It's not a problem for Qing Xian to play the second female lead. The industry is so big, so it's impossible to spend so much time on her. As long as she can't play the female lead, she will never be able to win the Best Female Lead award. It will be enough for her to feel uncomfortable for the rest of her life. The system clicked its tongue in its heart. As expected of the host. Chapter 4238. Qing Xian used to be an award-winning actress, but in this world she could only play the second female lead. Don't worry about the first female lead roles in some trashy scripts. Let her play them. Analyze them and inform me of any scripts that have a chance of being popular. Tangua suddenly felt that she had too few female artists under her control. It wasn't that she didn't have enough female artists, but there didn't seem to be any female artists who were similar to Qing Xian. Yin Zhuyun and Jiang Qiqi's paths were more special. Zhuoxiang debuted too late and her acting skills couldn't be learned quickly. Her talent was much worse than He Lei's, and He Lei had to be careful when dealing with Qing Xian. Therefore Zhuoxiang couldn't win against Qing Xian. In that case, she had to choose a few female artists with good acting skills to compete for the first female lead roles in some good scripts. It didn't matter if she couldn't get them, as long as she could beat Qing Xian and make the director feel that Qing Xian wasn't good enough, then the matter would be settled. Tongzi, help me keep an eye out for female artists with good acting skills who are similar to Qing Xian. It's best if they don't have a good background and are often bullied by others. Okay, Madam Host. The system felt that helping Madam Host was the happiest thing in the world. However, it had a question now. Madam Host, now that you've found your cutie, why isn't there any progress between you two? She just finished her work and you're sending her to work. Madam Host, do you only want to raise cows now? You're just a system, why are you asking so many questions? Shouldn't feelings come naturally when the conditions are right? We're both young now, so shouldn't we work harder? System, I don't think you're trustworthy. In the afternoon, Tangua brought soup to visit Hao Yi at work. System, I knew that Madam Host couldn't be trusted. Look, her actions don't match her words. Madam Host, didn't you say that feelings should come naturally when the conditions are right? Why did you bring soup to Hao Yi? Tangua, I wanted to, so I did. This is called following my heart. Is there a problem? System, I can't win against you. You're bullying me again. The system wanted to say something, but it realized that someone had sent it an email. It looked at the sender and realized that it was 111. It quickly said to Tangua, Host 111 sent me an email. It should be the installation package he promised me last time. I'll go take a look. All right. Tangua was also a little curious about what kind of installation package 111 would send to her little Tongzi. Not long after, Tangua went to the set. This time Hao Yi was filming a legal drama. Hao Yi was cast in this role because the director had taken a fancy to him first and invited him to the audition. To be able to hook up with such a veteran director through a TV series was enough to prove that Hao Ye's business ability was very strong. In this drama, Hao Ye's role was that of a lawyer. It wasn't a supporting role, nor was it a negative role. It was a very contradictory role that tested the actor's skills. So far, the director was very satisfied with Hao Ye's performance. Qi Dong had actually auditioned for this role before, but he was not chosen. This director was famous for not lacking in money. He only filmed films that he wanted to film. Qi Dong could not do anything about it. When Tangua arrived, Hao Yi had just finished a scene. At this time, Hao Yi was dressed in a suit and leather shoes, looking like an elite. Perhaps he had not had the time to come out of his role just now, but when he faced Tangua, she could feel an indescribable desire hidden under his elite appearance. Chapter 4239. Money, Power, and the Desire to be Above Others. When Hao Yi saw Tangua, he quickly broke away from his role and walked to her with a faint smile on his face. "Why are you here on such a cold day?" Hao Yi realized that he didn't want to call her sister Tang at all. He was only a few years older than her, so it felt weird to call her sister Tang. In the beginning he didn't feel this way. The more he interacted with her, the less he wanted their interaction to be like this. "I'm here to take a look. You're all working. As your manager, I've been quite free recently. Coincidentally, the others aren't in the city. You're the only one here. I had some soup for lunch today, so I brought some for you." Hao Yi tried to recall in his mind. The others didn't seem to be in the city. So she really wanted to drink soup for herself and thought of him, so she prepared some for him. "Are you done here? Do you want to try it?" Hao Yi took the thermos box. "Since you personally brought it over, how can I not eat it? I haven't opened it yet, but I can smell the fragrance from the gaps in the thermos. This soup must be good." Tangua pursed her lips and smiled. He was quite good at talking. When the director saw this, he glanced at the two of them and laughed. "Looks like the crew can save a box of lunch today. If Hao Yi can drink soup every day, then the crew can save a box of lunch every day. It's worth it," the director continued. The others also teased. Hao Yi drank a mouthful of soup and couldn't help but look at Tangua with his desire. "If I can drink soup like this every day, it must be my good deeds in my previous life." As soon as Hao Yi said this, everyone understood what was going on. Especially the female artistes present. Previously they felt that Hao Yi was a person who was easy to talk to, but he didn't like to interact with the opposite sex. They heard that he had been in the entertainment industry for more than 10 years and was still single. He was so handsome. Everyone could feel that he was going to soar into the sky. Who didn't have such thoughts? Unfortunately, Hao Yi didn't appreciate it. But he was different with Tangua. He drank her soup and even praised her. Talking to Tangua for a short while was more than talking to them for 10 days. So he was the first to benefit from being in a favorable position. "The weather has been cold recently. I've been drinking soup every day. I'll bring some for you when the time comes," Tangua said. Hao Yi asked hypocritically, "Will it be troublesome?" "I'm fine. I'm just taking a walk after dinner." "It's fine." Hao Yi nodded in relief. "Then I won't stand on ceremony." Everyone. Did these two people take others for fools? Everyone in the crew was very polite to Tangua because they also wanted such an awesome manager. Unfortunately, not everyone could catch her eye. Throughout the winter, Tangua came to the set every day to visit and deliver soup. Everyone could see that the relationship between the two of them was getting better and better. They were just short of holding hands and going on a date. Throughout the entire winter, they were gluttonous because of the delicious soup. Even though the bento boxes provided by the crew were not bad, they felt that it was not delicious anymore. Hao Ye's drama was still very well made. Because he was a professional, he corrected all the logical errors in the script. Also, he collected many real cases that he and his classmates had experienced and integrated them into the script to ensure that every story was especially exciting. Because of this, Hao Ye's name not only appeared on the cast list, but also on the scriptwriter list. When the promotional poster was released, half a year had already passed. In other words, Hao Yi had disappeared for half a year after the previous lawsuit. In the end, he made such a big deal out of it. Needless to say, this was another drama that was going to be a hit. Currently, Hao Yi had already gone on a road show to promote, so this was still necessary. Tangua did not go with him. Instead, she stayed at home to look at the information of the celebrities in the industry. Tongzi helped her to summarize a lot of information. She needed to look at it one by one. She remembered something. Tongzi. Recently, her Tongzi had been distracted. He wondered if it was playing games. After she called for a while, the system said, "Dear host, what's the matter? What information do you need?" Tangua felt that the system seemed to be very anxious. It hoped that she could settle her matter quickly so that it could play. "What have you been doing recently?" "Oh right, didn't 111 give you an installation bag previously? What is it?" Chapter 4240. Madam Host, you finally remembered this. For the entire winter, his Madam Host had been prioritizing love over friendship and had completely forgotten about him. Now that she had basically gotten the person, did she finally remember him? What installation package did 111 give you? System. It's a complicated social software with a lot of content. This software was called System Home. In it, one could add friends, create small rooms, post posts, play games, and even watch videos. Of course, there's also a shopping center where you can buy things. Tengwa was a little surprised. Judging from little Tongzi's words, he can already use that System Home? Tengwa, such a complicated program, can you even use it? Madam Host, don't look down on me. Not only can I use it, but I've also met many new systems recently. I finally understand why 111 is so outstanding. It's because the other systems are too naive. Isn't it because my brother is too awesome and did missions to upgrade 111? That's why he became so awesome? The system stammered. Okay, that's one of the reasons. So you've been busy making new friends recently? Tengwa finally understood why her little Tongzi would disappear whenever he had nothing to do. It was because he had found something fun. Speaking of which, little Tongzi was also compatible with the Space Administration's program. It seemed that her little Tongzi was indeed more advanced. System. Of course, I've also added many systems as friends. We play games together, watch videos together, chat in rooms together, and share all kinds of experiences in transmigration. The more he didn't expect that one day his life would be so rich and he would meet so many systems. It was simply too blissful. Love Literature Network. Looks like 111 gave you something good. She was wondering why she hadn't heard little Tongzi complain about 111 for a long time. It turned out that he had been bribed. System. That's right. 111 is still very loyal. They go play. I'll call you if there's anything. Little Tongzi was probably still in high spirits. If there was nothing else, Tengwa wouldn't disturb him. As expected, the system responded and went into hiding. Just now he saw a post from a system complaining. He hadn't finished reading it yet. It was also because of this software that he realized that not all systems were as lucky as him, 111 and 222 to meet good hosts. Some hosts just couldn't do it. Every day they would think that a pie would fall from the sky. They were also lovey-dovey. Their mission progress didn't increase for a long time, and they even complained that the system was stupid. But if he didn't complete the mission and upgrade the system, how could the system become smarter? Those systems were really pitiful. Fortunately, he had met his host. He was indeed the luckiest system, followed by 111. Tengwa had already picked out 3 good female artists. They were about the same age as Qing Xian, and their career paths overlapped with Qing Xian's. The 3 of them had good looks and were very capable. It was just that they were a little unlucky and had no background, so they had never been able to get an important role in a good script. The 3 of them had a certain base of fans. They were the kind of faces that passers-by were very familiar with. However, they had never played the main roles before, so they could not become popular. After bringing the 3 of them back, Tengwa did not plan to teach them herself. Half of her artists had already finished their work and were resting. Therefore, after the 3 of them arrived, this matter was handed over to Jiang Qiqi and the others. Critics. Chapter 42-41. Those 3 celebrities didn't lack acting skills. What they lacked was an opportunity. It was more than enough for Jiang Qiqi and the others to teach them. A month later, Yu Xiwei's movie was released. As expected, it received good reviews the moment it was released. Because of this, Yu Xiwei became popular again. In this movie, Xiao Huahua also had some scenes. At the request of the fans, Yu Xiwei opened an account for Xiao Huahua when she was the spokesperson for the chicken farm. The account was filled with information about Xiao Huahua's life. Yu Xiwei didn't expect that Xiao Huahua's fans had already doubled from the time he opened the account until now. The number of fans who supported Xiao Huahua every day was more than his. On the celebrity rankings, Xiao Huahua's popularity soared and surpassed many celebrities. People were speechless and didn't know what to do. Many celebrities in the industry didn't know whether to laugh or cry. They had worked hard to act for so many years, but in the end, they were surpassed by a little hen. This was the biggest joke in the industry. Yu Xiwei didn't think much of it, but Xiao Huahua's remuneration for appearing on screen wasn't lower than his. According to the current situation, if this continued, Xiao Huahua might surpass him by a lot. He even said that he would raise Xiao Huahua, but now the money Xiao Huahua earned was more than he could spend in a few lifetimes. Now Xiao Huahua's fans were no longer from the country. There were also fans from other countries. Many programs hoped that Yu Jiwei would bring Xiao Huahua to participate in them, but Yu Jiwei basically rejected them. If there was a good program, he would still consider it. After the movie became popular, Yu Jiwei's status suddenly soared to become an A-list celebrity. Next, he accepted 2 big-name endorsements. If it was a TV series or a movie, it would depend on fate. After all, he didn't accept just any movie. If he could accept a better one, of course he would accept a better one. Scale literature. In addition, Jiang Qiqi and Zhuo Xiang had also achieved good results. Jiang Qiqi had already started to take on the role of the female lead. Her image had changed drastically, and the roles she took on were more imposing female leads. After seeing so many soft female leads, it was still very appetizing to suddenly have an A and handsome female lead. For Zhuo Xiang's next drama, Tangwa planned to find her a female lead role. After so many years of training, it was about time. There was no need to talk about He Lei. The script in front of him now was basically for the male lead. Tangwa still attached great importance to He Lei's development. After all, he was a popular newcomer, so he had to be careful when accepting scripts. If he formed a fixed impression, it would be very troublesome for him to change his style. For a character as profound as Fan Shi's, it would be a test of one's acting skills to take on. As for idol dramas, if the script was good and the character stood out, one could still take on the role. As for those who were too ordinary, they could forget about it. At the end of the day, she still hoped that the artists in her hands would take on some quality projects even if they had to rely on popularity. Everyone was given a 1-month holiday by Tangwa. They all lived in Tangwa's mansion. Every day, in addition to practicing their basic skills, they also had to teach the 3 newcomers. At this moment, Hao Yi returned. On the day he came back, he brought gifts for everyone. However, one of the gifts he brought for Tangwa was a diamond ring. Seeing Hao Yi put the ring on Tangwa's finger intimately, Yu Jiwei and the others were dumbfounded. What was going on? Didn't they just go out to work for a winter? So tell them what's going on. Did Hao Yi kidnap their manager without their knowledge? Chapter 42-42. After the 1-month holiday, everyone was busy working again. Not long after, Tangwa received another piece of good news. He Lei's character, Fan Shi, had a high chance of winning the Best Supporting Actor award. Jiang Qiqi's character, the villain of the drama, also had a high chance of winning the Best Supporting Actress award. Hao Ye's character in I Only Want to Rule the World was actually very outstanding. However, since it was a comedy drama, it did not meet the standards of the award. Therefore, he was only nominated once before he was eliminated. Tangwa and Hao Yi were not in a hurry. After all, if nothing unexpected happened, he had a high chance of winning the award for his role as a lawyer in the drama. Tangwa was looking forward to Yu Jiwei's new movie. However, the role of the best actor depended on the movie itself. It also had to meet the standards of the contemporary judges. Not only did the movie have to be good, but it also had to be meaningful. It had to fully express the exterior and interior of the main character. It was useless if the movie was good. After Qing Xian hyped herself up as a single mother, her fame skyrocketed. Currently, she was hovering around the C-list. Tangwa took note of Qing Xian and the male lead that she had never met before. She did not know if they missed each other that time, but they did not meet again. Qing Xian was doing well in the entertainment industry. With the role of the second female lead in the new drama, her fame increased a lot. Taking advantage of this popularity, she planned to continue to audition for some good scripts that she had her eyes on. If she could play the female lead, it would be best if she could play the female lead. Only now did Qing Xian realize that not all young actors were as crazy as He Lei. Most of them were similar to the world that she came from. Because of this, Qing Xian's confidence increased a lot. After learning that Qing Xian was going to audition for a new role, Tangwa immediately looked up the roles that she was going to audition for. Chinese. Now she was going to do something. Because everyone was busy, she did not have the time to settle the score with Qing Xian. She thought about the female artists that she had. Especially the 3 that she recruited later on, they were definitely good at acting and had the potential to play the female lead. Since Qing Xian was going to audition for the female lead, she told them to get ready and give it a try. Qing Xian was originally full of confidence and wanted to audition for the female lead. Initially, the director was very satisfied with her. However, she was rejected in the end. She asked around and found out that the director had chosen a professional supporting actress. After looking at the film, Qing Xian was silent. She continued to prepare the materials for the other role. When Qing Xian went in for the second audition, she saw the director and the others discussing something with smiles on their faces. She could vaguely hear the director saying, "If there's no problem." Qing Xian's performance in this match was a little off, so she naturally lost this opportunity. Qing Xian had clearly taken a fancy to the two female leads, and they were chosen by the director for the public, not internally decided. In the end, she had missed the opportunity, and this made Qing Xian very angry. Next up, she could only audition for a second female lead with a good script because the first female lead had already been decided. Tangwa sent out her number 3 female artist. But this time she didn't steal Qing Xian's role but another one. It should be said that she was the second female lead. The main reason she did this was because she wanted to steal Qing Xian's limelight during the filming. Chapter 42-43. It was just that when she started filming she wanted to steal the limelight of the second female lead, but she did not expect that she could not do it at all. After some investigation, she found out that the second female lead had debuted as a child star and had always been lacking by a little. It was very difficult for her to steal the limelight from such an experienced actress. Qing Xian's filming this time could be said to be full of scheming. She felt that every time she wanted to do something, the other party could react very quickly. Moreover, the other party's understanding of the role was too strong. She could always act out the ordinary lines and actions so perfectly. She originally thought that the role was flat, but it actually came to life just like that. Maybe it was because the other party's performance was excellent. She changed the lines slightly and added some scenes for herself. The director actually did not stop her. Instead, he was very satisfied. Qing Xian did not know that this artiste could rise so quickly because she had been trained. The director believed her because he knew that this person was an artiste under Tangwa. How bad could she be? Also, Tangwa had sponsored a lot of props for them. Those exquisite crowns and costumes were all real and priceless. It completely raised the level of the entire drama. Qing Xian was suppressed by Tangwa and she thought of Qi Dong again. As for how to deal with Qi Dong, she decided to discuss it with Hao Yi. "Is there anything new about Qi Dong recently?" Hao Yi asked. Tangwa said, "I heard that half of his endorsements are about to expire. But you are not interested in this. I plan to snatch it for Xiaolei. Xiaolei is tall and handsome. He is suitable for these high-end brand endorsements. With his current popularity and image, there is a high chance that we can snatch it." Hao Yi agreed. He really did not want to endorse any products. It was not that he was arrogant, but it was not that he did not like it. He only liked acting and was not interested in anything else. Also, Qi Dong seems to have his eyes on a movie role. The theme is about future technology. Do you want to snatch it personally? This is an experienced director. There is an open casting, but this director is still very considerate. For Qi Dong, he might use Sister Yang's resources. But don't worry. As long as your interpretation is far better than Qi Dong's, the director will still choose his movie. Qi Dong has been thinking about entering the film industry for many years. How can I give this opportunity to him? Hao Yi said. Xiaogua, do you have any information about this script? I'll ask the company to get it for you. Tangwa was already thinking about it. Since it was a futuristic science and technology theme, it seemed that she could ask Emmanuel and Billy for some information. However, this information couldn't be shown to Hao Yi, so he could only show it to Hao Yi so that he could understand the technology of the future. On the same day, Hao Yi prepared for the role. On the day of the audition, Tangwa accompanied Hao Yi to the audition. This was the first time she had met Qi Dong since her return. When Qi Dong saw Hao Yi, his expression also changed. He had a bad feeling in his heart. Sure enough, after the audition, Qi Dong was outshone by Hao Yi. The director ignored his assistant's signal and decided to cast Hao Yi as the male lead on the spot. After everyone left, the assistant stammered, "Director, Sister Yang has invested in more than half of this drama. Now that you've chosen Hao Yi and pushed Qi Dong out, Sister Yang, Qi Dong won't do. If Hao Yi hadn't come, I could have reluctantly accepted it. But compared to him, it's like heaven and earth." Critics. Chapter 42-44. Qi Dong was just reading his lines dryly. His acting was too exaggerated. As for Hao Yi, not only did he get into character, he also had his own understanding and even added in some bold conjectures. He must have read some sci-fi books. Actually, Chi Dong's performance was commendable, it was just not outstanding. But compared to Hao Yi, the director did not like Chi Dong at all, so his words were biased. But Sister Yang, the assistant reminded again. She was the biggest investor of their movie. The director laughed. Sister Yang is not an unreasonable person. I will explain the reason to her when the time comes. Also, Hao Ye's manager is Tanggua. Do you know what this means? The assistant did not understand. The director continued. It means that even if Sister Yang withdraws her investment, we will not be short of money. Now that everyone in the industry knows about the relationship between Hao Yi and his manager, would she stop Hao Yi from acting in this movie? The assistant widened her eyes. That seemed to be the case. This manager was really something. Chi Dong was furious. As soon as he returned to the car, he called Sister Yang. He told her about how he was rejected at the audition today. Sister Yang was silent for a second. I will ask what happened. Chi Dong smiled and said many words of thanks in a gentle voice. He even said that he would look for Sister Yang today. I went abroad last week. Sister Yang's reminder made Chi Dong feel a little awkward. He changed the topic and said a few more things before hanging up. Sister Yang immediately called the director. After hearing the director's words, she had no intention of withdrawing her investment. If the director strongly recommended someone, the movie would definitely be a hit. If she withdrew her investment, it would be a huge loss for her. Shui Venus for Shao Qi, she would help him invest in another movie. It would be easy for him to get a male lead role. When Chi Dong heard this, although he was unhappy, he did not dare to say anything. Instead, he tactfully rejected Sister Yang's suggestion. He said that he did not have a good movie script yet and would rather take on a TV script first. Who is Tanggua? Director Qin was not nervous at all when he talked to me today. It seems that he is confident that even if I withdraw my investment, the movie will continue. He mentioned this Tanggua many times. Go and find out what's going on. Not long after, Sister Yang saw Tanggua's information. The heiress of the Tang Group was currently working as a manager in the entertainment industry. The artists under her were all very outstanding. Some had become A-listers and some were about to become A-listers. In short, none of the artists were neglected and they were all steadily rising. I wonder, Hao Yi. Sister Yang finally remembered this person. So that's how it is. Sister Yang, I also found out something else. Chi Dong has been targeting Hao Yi all these years, causing him to retire from the industry for 7 years. When his contract with the company is terminated, he will return to the circle and sign a contract with Morning Star Entertainment. The person who signed him is Tanggua. Looks like he did it on purpose this time. Back then, Hao Yi had suppressed Little Chi quite a bit. I didn't expect Little Chi to do so many things in between. Big Sister Yang thought for a moment. Sister Yang, perhaps you should pay more attention to Chi Dong. He's done a lot of things in your name. Look, you've been abroad for a week now, but he doesn't know. Previously you cared about him, so I didn't say anything. Now he's getting more and more arrogant. If it wasn't for this lesson, I wouldn't have remembered you, Sister Yang. Then tell Little Chi to stay away from Hao Yi. Remind him not to target Hao Yi anymore. The heiress of the family Tang Group might not have known that she was behind Chi Dong. She could have released this information to deal with Chi Dong, but she did not. This was enough to show that she was giving her face. Hao Yi got this role because of his own ability. Peak. Chapter 42-45. Chi Dong thought that after calling Sister Yang, she would help him no matter what. Even if she couldn't get the role back, she would withdraw her investment and warn the director. If the director was faced with withdrawal of his investment, it would definitely cause some trouble for the shoot. He didn't expect to receive a call from Sister Yang's assistant not long after hanging up the phone. Her words were a warning to him. What was even more unbelievable was that she warned him not to provoke Hao Yi. This infuriated Chi Dong greatly. Hao Yi again. Damn it. He knew that once Hao Yi returned to the industry, his career would be affected. He finally had his eyes set on a role. He had a hunch that with this movie he would be able to make a name for himself in the film industry. In the end, it was snatched away by Hao Yi. When he first entered the industry, he had always wanted to enter the film industry. He had tested the waters one after another, but the response was not good. He could only wait for a suitable role, which was a big production script. After waiting for so long, he even asked Sister Yang to help him invest. In the end, the cooked duck flew away just like that. Chi Dong was flustered and exasperated. He couldn't buy any marketing now. Hao Yi was being supported by some rich woman and his amazing manager was a rich girl who didn't lack money. Most importantly, she didn't mistreat anyone under her. Even if he used this to make an issue out of it, passers-by who knew a little about what had happened would not believe him. They would even think that the rumors were because they were jealous of Hao Yi. The key was that after Hao Ye's investment he had acted in 2 dramas. From the first one onwards his acting skills were commendable. Qi Dong was not satisfied. In the end he decided to defame Hao Yi no matter what. Thus he sold the fake reviewers. Those big marketers didn't dare to say anything about Hao Yi, but the fake account created by the fake reviewers was something Hao Yi couldn't pursue. Before Director Qin made an official announcement, Qi Dong stirred up trouble. He bought fake reviewers to spread the news that Hao Yi had stolen the role not long after his investment. Sure enough, when the news came out, the netizens were curious about what was going on. The fake reviewers led them to dig up information and soon, they found out that the fake reviewers were Qi Dong. Qi Dong was an award-winning actor. Almost every drama he acted in was a hit. The news on the internet is that the role was originally Qi Dong's. Later, as your manager, I was especially capable and snatched it back for you. Tanghua held her phone and discussed with Qi Dong. They didn't guess wrong, but you snatched it back yourself. I brought you to snatch it. Qi Dong didn't win. Qi Dong likes to play these little tricks behind people's backs. In the future, if the roles he has his eyes on are not bad, I'll try them out. Hao Yi said, Xiaogua, help me keep an eye out. No problem. If it weren't for the fact that the 2 of them were leaning against the tatami and looked very intimate, she would have thought that they were having a discussion in the office. Recently, the system media had been busy making new system friends. Occasionally, he would look at what Tanghua was doing. If there wasn't anything important, he wouldn't say anything. I've already spoken to Director Qin. He'll be releasing the footage of the audition later. When the time comes, the netizens will be free to judge for themselves. Tanghua felt that Qi Dong was just a little smart, but if he was dealing with a small artist, this little trick would be very useful. Unfortunately, he met Hao Yi, and even more unfortunately, Hao Yi was her man, so he was looking for death. Of course, she would make use of the black material that came knocking on her door. She didn't expose the fact that Qi Dong was Sister Yang's sugar daddy because of Sister Yang. Qi Dong had been defaming Hao Yi time and time again, and she had long been annoyed with him. Peak. Chapter 42-46. Also, Director Qin said that Sister Yang has no intention of withdrawing her investment. Hao Yi was not surprised when he heard the news. Sister Yang is not someone who would abandon her principles for Qi Dong. She will support Qi Dong and usually uses resources to support him. She won't do something for no reason. Moreover, anyone with a bit of foresight will continue to invest in this movie and not withdraw their investment because of Qi Dong. Looks like I'm going to earn less again. Tanghua sighed. Hao Yi said, my salary is getting higher and higher. I don't usually spend money. I'll leave the money to you. Tanghua pursed her lips and smiled. She remembered the first time she went to Qi Dong's house. It was extremely simple. All the furnishings and furniture were from many years ago, but they were not damaged at all. Everything was neat and tidy. Then I won't stand on ceremony. You really know how to earn money but not how to spend it. I'll help you spend it. That's what I should do. I'll only give you 500 yuan a month. Tanghua said. If it's more than 500 yuan, you'll have to report it. I feel like I can't even spend 500 yuan. Hao Yi expressed very seriously. Now that all his daily life was taken care of by his personal assistant, there was no place for him to spend money. The clothes he wore outside were all prepared for him by Tanghua, and some were given to him by the clothing company. Not only did they give him clothes, but they also gave him money to wear them. Tanghua was amused. Currently, the netizens were in an uproar on the internet, especially Qi Dong's crazy fans. They were all scolding Hao Yi for being shameless and stealing their brother's role. Many people even went to Hao Ye's blog post to scold him. There were all kinds of unpleasant words, including cursing his family to be wiped out. Hao Yi was not immune to these words, but he did not like the feeling of being bullied on the internet. Every time he saw people scolding him, his desire to file a lawsuit was stirred. Tanghua looked at him and asked with a smile, "Who are you going to sue this time?" "But it's not easy to sue. You can warn them first." "Then I'll post a warning on my blog." You really don't think this matter is big enough? Tangwa didn't object. Hao Yi didn't care about these things anyway. Artists were also human. He could use the law to protect himself against false news. Hao Yi posted a blog post. It was still a very simple and clear text. Spreading rumors is not acceptable. It's still the same sentence. No matter who you are, I hope you will be responsible for what you say on the internet. Otherwise, I will take up the weapon of the law to protect my rights. Hao Yi wasn't afraid that more people would scold him, nor was he afraid that people would say that he sued people for no reason. To him it was enough that he could return to this circle. Firstly, he could act. Secondly, he could use the law to protect himself. Those who liked him would continue to like him. Those who didn't like him, please don't slander him. He was still a little different from other artists. He wouldn't swallow his pride. Sure enough, when Hao Ye's Weibo post came out, the people who were scolding him stopped for a while. They were a little scared. However, Qi Dong's diehard fans didn't care about this. This was the result of Qi Dong's deliberate manipulation. Then some of his big fans scolded Hao Yi even more fiercely. What was surprising was that those pornographic marketing accounts didn't follow suit and scold him. Instead, they quietly went to the official website. Marketing account 1. Hao Yi posted such a frightening statement again. The warning in it is very strong. I feel that something is going to happen. Peak. Chapter 42-47. Marketing number 2. I think so too. Anyway, let's not get involved in any news about Hao Yi. Once we get involved, we'll be in trouble. This guy must have been scolded so badly that he's traumatized. I suspect that he came back with the ultimate move to take revenge on those who scolded him. Marketing number 3. This guy is not to be trifled with. He's good at acting, smart, and a lawyer. He also has so many classmates and schoolmates. We really can't afford to offend him. Marketing number 4. Then let's repost Hao Ye's blog post. At least we can ride on his popularity. Let's spread the word that we hope everyone can be kinder. Everything that's in front of us is just groundless accusations. There's no evidence. Hao Yi won't sue us, right? Marketing number 5. That's not a bad idea. To other artists we can just say whatever we want. But to Hao Yi, I've thought of a good way to ride on his popularity. We can just repost his blog post. It'll definitely be popular. In my opinion, since Hao Yi is so serious about it, this matter is definitely not over. Another shocking scene appeared on the internet. Hao Ye's blog post was reposted by all the major marketing accounts. They even added some words to persuade the netizens to be kinder. Without any evidence, it was better not to speak blindly. The internet was never a lawless place. Passers-by looked at the marketing accounts and left comments. Hey, if you think Hao Yi was kidnapped, blink your eyes. It was originally a serious matter, but after the marketing accounts and netizens' comments, it became a bit of a joke. The passers-by were still calm. They still remembered Hao Ye's lawsuit incident. Only Qi Dong's fans refused to listen. They couldn't see it. They couldn't see it. They couldn't see it. Anyway, it was Hao Yi who stole their brother's role. Director Qin was quite supportive. He released the audition footage on the same day. This was already a slap to Qi Dong's face. He had been planning this movie for 5 years. He couldn't let a rumor ruin the reputation of the male lead he was so satisfied with. Qi Dong was looking for trouble, so he couldn't be blamed. Sure enough, when the audition footage was released, those who watched it were silent. Qi Dong's acting wasn't bad, but the traces of acting were too obvious. It was obvious that he didn't have a deep understanding of the role. Hao Yi was different. He was playing the role. No, it should be said that when he stood in front of the camera, it was as if he was the character. Even Qi Dong's fans had to admit that Hao Ye's acting was the best. In addition, the two of them auditioned together. Hao Yi did not steal Qi Dong's role at all. Qi Dong was the one who couldn't compete. While the netizens were arguing for a long time, Qi Dong did not say a word. Wasn't this tacitly admitting that Hao Yi had stolen his role? Unfortunately, if this method was used on other artists, it might not be able to clear their names, but it could work on Hao Yi. What was even more unbelievable was that Hao Yi was about to go to court again. When this news came out, the netizens were all dumbfounded. But this time, Hao Yi was going to join the crew for filming, so he asked his classmate to help him with the lawsuit. The people he was suing were Qi Dong's big fans who had been jumping around happily under his blog post. Before entering the set, Hao Yi posted on his blog. Hao Yi, if I'm not good, if I really do something bad, everyone can scold me. However, things like slander and rumors are not allowed here. I will use the appropriate means to protect my own rights. Good news came one after another. The female villain in Jiang Qiqi's previous TV series had successfully defeated Qing Xian and Mi Yaxue and won the Best Supporting Actress award. Chapter 42-48. Needless to say, Fan Shi won the Best Supporting Actor award. Hao Yi's TV series had already started airing. As soon as it started airing, Hao Yi, who was different from the previous emperor, appeared in a suit and leather shoes. This caused a huge sensation. In the TV series, professional terms and serious cases were used one after another. Everyone was mesmerized by the series. All the cases in the series were cases that changed reality. Especially when Hao Yi, a real lawyer, was in charge of the series. He corrected any unprofessional parts. In the end, the TV series was praised by the country and was even broadcast on the news. Could be said that the series became extremely popular. Originally, people in the legal industry hated legal TV series the most. Because of the unprofessional terms and methods, they felt that their IQ was being insulted. They could not help but nitpick. However, Hao Yi's TV series was different. Almost as soon as it was released, many teachers recommended it to law students. They even played the drama in class and used it as a textbook. The director laughed like crazy. He did not expect Hao Yi to bring him such a big surprise. When the TV series was broadcasted on the internet, the screen was filled with comments like, "Senior brother is so handsome. Senior brother seems to have participated in changing reality. I know about this case. Our professor often tells us about it. Also, I took over this case." Although some details were changed, the general idea remained the same. A few months later, Yu Jiwei won the Best Actor award for his first movie. It was like a dream. In the same year, Hao Yi won the Best Actor award for his legal TV series. The artists under Tang Guo's management also received some achievements and nominations. Scripts and endorsements flew into her hands. As for Qi Dong, he was already half dead from the incident where he framed Hao Yi. She also heard that Sister Yang had broken off her relationship with Qi Dong. She even gave Qi Dong a role as the male lead in a TV series as compensation. Regarding this, Tang Guo did not ask anyone to snatch it. He still had to give face to Sister Yang. This was most likely a breakup fee. It was not good to snatch it. It was the system that helped her find out. It was Sister Yang who found out that Qi Dong was a small-time celebrity. Naturally, there was no way this relationship could continue. If he took the initiative to end their relationship, Sister Yang would not stop him. Qi Dong was a typical example. He wanted to hug this big tree and also wanted a young and beautiful woman. How could there be such a good thing? Qi Dong, who had lost Sister Yang, was extremely flustered. Now his reputation had taken a turn for the worse. He was even being mocked by the entire internet. Qing Xian was still filming. Unfortunately, with so many actresses under Tang Guo, she had no way of getting the female lead role. Anyway, the female lead role that she thought was pretty good would not be able to compete with her in the end. She really wanted the role of the female lead. Finally, she got the chance, which was when Tang Guo was busy with other actresses. There was indeed a female lead, but the filming did not go smoothly. The second female lead was someone who had her own resources. She had changed a lot of scenes on her own without permission and had sidelined her role as the female lead. She was so angry that she wanted to die, but there was nothing she could do. She didn't know if Qi Dong was mentally unstable, but his acting skills seemed to have regressed in the last show that Sister Yang had invested in. While Hao Yi won the Best Actor award for his first film, Qi Dong sat in front of the television and watched everything unfold with a look of dissatisfaction. Chapter 42-49. In the end, he decided to approach another rich woman. He was not willing to lose to Hao Yi. Hao Yi had not been in the industry for many years. How did he become popular when he came back? Why did Hao Yi easily achieve what he could not achieve after so many years of hard work? Tang Guo's artists exploded one after another. First it was Yu Jiwei, He Lei, Jiang Qiqi, Hao Yi, then Zhuxiang, Yin Juyun, and finally the three new artists. None of them disappointed her. While training these artists, Tang Guo heard the system gossiping to her again. "Host, because of Sister Yang, those rich women don't like Qi Dong." However, a tycoon took a fancy to him, but it was a man. Qidong is now very poor. In the end, he decided to sell his butt for a living. When Tangwa heard this, she was drinking tea and almost choked. What's wrong? Hao Yi patted Tangwa's back and asked with concern, Are you not feeling well? Tangwa shook her head. I'm fine. I suddenly heard a piece of news. She told them about Qidong and realized that everyone looked normal. It was as if they were not surprised by the news. She reacted. You all know. It's not a secret. There are no secrets in the industry, Yin Zhiyun said. She was very glad to be with this agent. During this period, many companies said that they wanted to sign them at a high price. The contract was very flexible, but none of them agreed. Weichang, they felt that no matter how flexible the contract was, it could not compare to being with their agent. Everyone was most envious of Hao Yi. He took achievements one by one and even brought their all-round agent to his nest. Sister Tang, there's another big news recently. Do you know? Jiang Qiqi asked. When she saw that Tangwa did not know, she could not help but laugh. Ever since they grew up, Sister Tang did not seem to worry much. She watched the shows they participated in at home every day. She had become a drama addict. What's the matter? Tangwa asked. She had many capable people in her hands. She was not worried, so she did not pay much attention to it. If there was any problem, Tong Zi would tell her immediately. Yin Zhiyun said, It's about Qing Xian. I heard that her child is the son of the Shui Group CEO, but CEO Shui has been married for more than 3 years. This child seemed to have been born a few years before their marriage. Now Mr. Shui's wife has been suppressing Qing Xian and she's not having a good time. Jiang Qiqi added, Although the Shui family looks down on Qing Xian, they don't want to give up the bloodline of the Shui family. However, Mr. Shui's wife obviously didn't want to accept this child, which caused Shui Group's stock price to drop a lot. If Mr. and Mrs. Shui get divorced, it means that the relationship between the Shui and Li families is broken. The impact will be huge. Qing Xian, the main culprit, naturally became a thorn in their side. President Shui's wife also exposed why Qing Xian climbed into President Shui's bed back then. It turned out that she wanted to ride on his coattails. This is solid evidence. Qing Xian can no longer clear her name. Her acting skills were not bad at first, but now it's useless. She's trapped in a whirlpool and is hated by the Shui and Li families. There's no hope for her to continue in this industry, especially President Shui's wife. They won't let her have a good time. Zhuxiang added. I see. Tangwa didn't sympathize with him at all. Chapter 4250. Speaking of innocence, the truly innocent one was President Shui's wife. Out of nowhere, her husband had an illegitimate son. How could she not die? Qing Xian's true motive for climbing into President Shui's bed was now exposed. In President Shui's eyes, the current Qing Xian was no different from a normal woman who clung on to the rich and powerful. Even if she had a smart and cute son, his impression of her would not change. So in this lifetime, Qing Xian would never be able to receive President Shui's true love. As for the entertainment industry, her words remained the same. She would never let Qing Xian play the female lead in a good script. Never. Tangwa no longer paid any attention to Qidong and Qing Xian. As long as they weren't doing well, she would be happy. Later on, when she had free time, Tangwa signed a few more artists. Because of her, a treasure manager, Morning Star Agency became one of the top agencies in the country. What made people speechless was that all the famous artists were under her management. No, to be exact, all the artists that were not famous in the past but were now famous were all under her management. In fact, online, some people even joked that Tangwa's artists were Tangkor's artists. Yu Jiwei felt that this was a good title and accepted it. In the end, Qidong was not satisfied. Hao Yi was so famous, and there was even a photo of Hao Yi and Tangwa traveling hand in hand. He thought this would bring them some trouble. The couple never had any intention of hiding their relationship. Now that it was exposed, they went with the flow and admitted it. Hao Yi's fans reacted calmly. After so many years, they understood Hao Yi. When he first debuted, he had already said that he wouldn't hide his relationship problems. In fact, his fans more or less knew about it. He was so brazen, how could they not see it? Not long after the relationship was exposed, they chose to get married. Qidong gritted his teeth in anger, but there was nothing he could do. He could only continue to sell his ass to maintain his status in the industry. Unfortunately, this method was not a long-term solution. One day he would be taken down by someone who didn't like him. Qi Dong's relationship was exposed a few years ago. This time he was really done for. Over the years, the impression Hao Yi gave his fans was that he fought lawsuits, doted on his wife and was the envy of others. Not only did he fight lawsuits for himself, if any of Tangkor's artists were to be slandered, he would also help. In this industry, Tangkor's artists were like a tightly coiled rope. If anyone dared to make a move, they would be hit. Unknowingly, many years passed. Tangkor's artists rarely had any rumors about them because they had a strong legal team behind them, led by Hao Yi. In fact, some artists that were affected by the rumors would choose to go to them for a lawsuit. Another characteristic of Tangkor's artists was, whenever they received an award, they would praise their manager on stage. They talked about how pitiful they used to be and how lucky they were to have met their manager. They even said that they wanted to give these trophies to their manager. Clearly, Tangguo was not in the entertainment industry. Who would have thought that in the end she would be given a room to put the trophy in? Tangguo was just an agent, but she never expected to be chosen as one of the most influential people of this century. Another person was Hao Yi, because he spared no effort to sue the person who started the rumor every time, indirectly purifying the online environment. Because of this, the country also made some changes to the laws and regulations on the internet. It was only right for him to become a legendary figure. Yu Jiwei's achievements weren't bad either. He was simply a craftsman. Even his Xiao Huahua became the most influential chick of this century and was even awarded an award. Tangguo had also secretly fed Xiao Huahua a pill so that Xiao Huahua could accompany Yu Jiwei and its fans for the rest of its life. Yin Zhiyun became one of the most elegant women of this century. Many housewives learned to cherish themselves and learned many skills from her. The other artists also had their own merits. In conclusion, none of Tangkor's artists were bad. In her lifetime, Tangguo managed over 50 artists. Every single one of them achieved great things and was known as the #1 manager. On the day she passed away, many students from the film and television school cried especially hard. No one could comfort them and many psychologists even came over to counsel them. The reason they cried was because their #1 manager had left before they even graduated. In the past, even though the chances of them going to her company were small, there was always a chance. But now there was no chance at all. Wow. The more they thought about it, the sadder they felt. At the peak. Chapter 4251. This was a magnificent place. The floor was paved with white jade and the rest of the room was decorated with all kinds of treasures. Utensils made of gold could be seen everywhere. These utensils were simple and elegant, and the workmanship was exquisite. The chair Tangguo sat on was also very particular. It was called a chair, but in fact it could be laid down horizontally. It could be seen how big this chair was. At the top of the chair, there was a huge gemstone that was as big as an adult's head. Such a big gemstone without any flaws was really puzzling. Most importantly, this gemstone was only used to decorate the chair. In addition to the huge gemstone, there were also smaller gemstones. Facing the light from outside, the gemstones on the chair emitted different colors of light. It was luxurious. Tangguo's first reaction was that she had transmigrated to a Mary Sue world. The so-called one book, one world. When a story was created, the world in the work would become a real small world after a long time of evolution. Even if it's the Mary Sue world, this place is too rich. Any random gemstone here is enough to let people eat and drink for several lifetimes. Tangguo couldn't help but touch the biggest gemstone. Felt very real. For a moment she couldn't tell whether this was virtual or real. She also found that there was a scepter on her left and right. There was also a gemstone on the scepter. This gemstone was purple and its shape was somewhat like a round crystal ball that had been polished with countless sides. She could tell at a glance that this wasn't a crystal ball, but a real purple gemstone. She decided to take a good look at this place. After taking 2 steps, she came to a floor mirror. The mirror was also very luxurious. On the edge of the mirror there were many diamonds. The twinkling almost blinded her eyes. 12th Literature Network. The person in the mirror was wearing a noble gemstone crown and wearing some Chinese and Western clothes. This dress was very expensive at a glance. It should be said that this style was exaggerated and expensive. Even in TV dramas it couldn't be seen. This wasn't the Mary Sue world. Tangwa had a new idea. This dress was very similar to the game world. Everyone knew that some of the costumes in the game world were quite extravagant. Someone like her who was wearing a jeweled crown, holding a scepter of the same design, and wearing luxurious clothes, looked like a game boss. With this knowledge, Tangwa could not help but guess the plot of this world. Could it be that the original owner, the big boss of the game, had her consciousness awakened? This led to a series of events. Tongzi, are you there? After staring for about 10 seconds, the system hurriedly replied, Dear host, I'm here. I've been keeping an eye on you. Tongzi, you've changed. Tangwa said slowly. The system felt a little guilty. Dear host, I won't play with them today. I'll accompany you. How about that? The system was filled with countless sins in its heart. How could it be so playful and not accompany the host? Tangwa was just joking. In fact, little Tongzi was still little Tongzi. It was just that his reaction was 10 seconds slower. It didn't matter to her. It wasn't easy for him to integrate into the system with an official identity. Little Tongzi was still warm, so it was normal for him to be a little playful. If you want to play, then go play. It won't delay anything. Go and receive the memories. Critics. Chapter 42-52. Tangwa sat back on the luxurious chair and gently leaned back on the cushion. The chair was really luxurious and comfortable. Just as Tangwa had guessed, she had transmigrated into a game world. The original owner was a very important NPC and was considered a big boss. She had to deal with human players many times every day. She was currently in her home, the Purple Tower in Purple Tower City. The Purple Tower was also called the Purple Tower Palace. It was a place that all human players wanted to visit. She was called Empress Sita. Tens of thousands of years ago, after the disappearance of the Purple Emperor, Empress Sita had been stationed in Purple Tower City to guard the treasures here. Of course, this was the background setting. There was no such thing as the Purple Emperor. However, the setting was that after the disappearance of the Purple Emperor, he was very concerned about the treasures here. Empress Sita wholeheartedly guarded this place and did not allow anyone to occupy it. Human players came here to do anything. So far, no one had been able to break through Empress Sita's level. However, this was a large-scale holographic game. The path to another map was not limited to Empress Sita's path. They could choose other paths. The other paths were also not clear. However, as more and more players were able to break through, they were no longer satisfied. As for Empress Sita's side, no one had been able to break through it. The officials even revealed some plot details. Once they gained Empress Sita's approval, there would be rich hidden rewards. The official dialogue was that regardless of whether one gained Empress Sita's approval or killed Empress Sita, there would be different rewards. Because of this news, almost all the players on the internet came to Purple Tower City as soon as they went online. They wanted to find a way to attack Empress Sita. In Purple Tower City, Empress Sita was invincible. Even the top player on the leaderboard could not withstand one move in front of her. Unless Empress Sita was lured out of the city. 123 Literature, however, she was stubborn. She was focused on guarding the treasures. She had no intention of going out. Every time she chased them to the door, she would not chase after them. Instead, she would return to the Purple Tower to play the game. After repeating the same thing over and over again, the players were mentally exhausted. They felt that the difficulty of this game was too high. However, the game company was not a novelty. Sometimes the settings in the game were indeed strange. Since they had played until now, there was no reason for them to give up. In particular, the game company announced that as long as one could pass Empress Sita's side, they would have priority in the newly released maps. Once this news came out, the players went crazy as they desperately tried to think of a way to deal with the Purple Tower Empress. In the end, someone came up with a solution. The person who came up with this solution was this world's chosen one. His name was Song Lin and his in-game name was Young Master Song. This method was to use his sincerity to move the Purple Tower Empress and make her let him go willingly. How did Song? In fact, before he defeated the Purple Tower Queen, he had inadvertently defeated another NPC. In this game, NPCs were relatively more powerful than those in other games. Players knew that this was a virtual world. It was just a way to pass time. Holographic games were very advanced. The game added this function to reduce the pressure on the singles in society. Singles could get satisfaction in the game. Then they would not do bad things in society. Chapter 4253. This function was developed with good intentions. Moreover, this game was registered with one's real name. One account could not be changed. It was impossible to create another account. Every time they logged in, they would be scanned. It was impossible to use someone else's account. If they did not want this account, they could commit suicide. Once the cooldown time was over, they could register again. In addition, some functions were not available to minors. For example, if they got married in the game, they would not be able to feel pain. Some games that only adults could play were not available to them. For minors, this game was just a normal game of socializing, leveling up, killing monsters, and dropping equipment. It was also said that Song Lin unintentionally conquered a game NPC. It was the guardian of the Half Moon Lake, the Half Moon Princess. After conquering her, he married the Half Moon Princess. In the hearts of these NPCs, this was their real world. Therefore, they really treated Song Lin as their husband. Moreover, after Song Lin decided to conquer Empress Sita, he came to Purple Tower City every day and pursued the original host. He did all the romantic things that he needed to do. After spending a few months, he finally moved Empress Sita. In order to marry Empress Sita, Song Lin broke off his marriage with the Half Moon Princess. The Half Moon Princess was so sad that she hid in the Half Moon Lake to heal. She did not believe in any heartless man in the world anymore. After Song Lin and the original host got married, the original host let him go. Song Lin successfully cleared the game and received rich rewards. He also had the right to go to a new map. After calming down, he remembered that the game company said that there was another reward for killing Empress Sita. In Purple Tower City, he could not kill Empress Sita. Therefore, he decided to trick Empress Sita out of Purple Tower City and kill her. At first, Empress Sita was not willing. Later, she could not resist Song Lin's request and wanted to see the outside world. She did not expect that not long after she went out, she would be killed by Song Lin. When Empress Sita was killed, the system would reset and she would return to her original state. In other words, after she was killed, she returned to the Purple Pagoda. It was as if she was still the Empress Sita who had not experienced anything. She had no previous memories. Song Lin did all this without any pressure. He thought of the Half Moon Princess again and went back to look for her. He even made up a story to deceive her, saying that he had been kidnapped by Empress Sita and had no choice but to divorce her. Half Moon Princess was a pure NPC born in the game world. Of course, she knew how powerful Empress Sita was. She never doubted Song Lin's words. Later on, Song Lin even helped his teammates trick Empress Sita out of the city and killed her to obtain the treasure. The other players followed suit. Empress Sita, the big boss, had been killed countless times by the players. Because of the frequent deaths, sadness, and despair, she actually developed her own consciousness. She hated these people who lied to her and wanted to kill her. So when they attacked her again, she took revenge. Empress Sita killed the players crazily. Although the players did not really die, they were locked up and tortured by her. Because they had activated the sense of pain, they screamed like pigs being slaughtered every day. From then on, it was Empress Sita who tortured the players. After such a long period of torture, the players' mental state was not very good. What was even more frightening was that Empress Sita had already sensed that something was wrong with the world. She accidentally found the exit button of the players and used her own power to control it. The players who came to the Purple Pagoda City to attack her almost lost their minds. After the game company discovered this problem, they quickly took measures and even asked Song Lin to kill Empress Sita together. The life of the original owner ended just like that. She was just a game character who had just developed her own consciousness. How could she fight against the wisdom of humans? Chapter 4254. After reading the memories, Tangwa decided to take a stroll in the group. This world wasn't difficult and it was a game world, so she could do whatever she wanted. The players wanted to play with her and she wanted to play with the players. After all, they were all playing, not dying, right? They wanted to trick her to go out and kill her and she wanted to trick them to come in and kill them. Campus bell. Everyone, I'm in a new world again. Margaret. Oh ho, it's not my place again. Blast, I guessed right. It really isn't my world. If it were my world, the campus bell would definitely enter the group and ask me where Margaret is, right? Chi Shao. Didn't you say you wouldn't come out? Margaret. Can't help it. I always have some hope in my heart. Over the years, I've been to various places on the mainland, looking for those who look very down and will become protagonists, or even have a chance to turn things around. I've taken in many students, but unfortunately, none of them have grown up to be protagonists. Zion. Margaret, you're too stubborn. There are some things that you can't get the more you think about it. Margaret. My lively mind doesn't allow me to not think about it. Campus Bell. This time it's a game world and the NPC character is considered a big boss. Tangwa briefly explained the plot to everyone, and the unanimous response was to trick the players into coming in and killing them. After all, it was a game world and they weren't dead people. They could kill the NPCs, but they could kill the players. During this period of time in the group, everyone was talking about their own ideas on how to torture the players. All kinds of methods were listed out for Tangwa. About 2 hours later, Empress Dowager Chin, who hadn't shown up until now, appeared. Empress Dowager Chin. So the campus bell has arrived in the new era and just finished climbing the building. Tangwa couldn't help but laugh. Empress Dowager Chin had learned these new words. It seemed that she had accepted these things well. Empress Dowager Chin. Maybe I'll have a chance to use the medicine you sent. As soon as Empress Dowager Chin finished speaking, everyone asked her what was going on. She said that their country was moving its capital. The original capital was relatively small, and many years ago they had already started building a new capital. Now that the palace had been built, everyone had to move there. The imperial palace that he used to live in had been converted into a temporary residence. This meant that on the way out, Empress Dowager Chin would be placed in a carriage. There might not be anyone watching her from above. The Empress would probably be overjoyed to be able to live in a new palace, and she had been unable to move for many years. The Empress should not be so vigilant. This time the Empress also dismissed a large number of people. She dismissed all kinds of suspicious people who might be her out of the palace. She was even less afraid of what these people could do. After Empress Dowager Chen's analysis, everyone felt that she did have a chance to use the medicine Ziyun gave her when moving the capital. When her body recovered, she would be able to do many things. However, according to Empress Dowager Chen's current situation, even if she recovered, she couldn't immediately expose herself. Now that the Empress Dowager was the most powerful family, even the Emperor was fascinated by her. It was possible that the Empress Dowager would be secretly killed. So even if Empress Dowager Chen's body could recover, she still had to endure it. It was already good news that she could recover. Empress Dowager Chen had endured the humiliation of the Empress for so many years, so it was no problem for her to endure it a little longer. It was just a matter of time. When her body recovered, she could slowly plan. Chapter 4255. Ziyun also made some medicine for Empress Dowager Chen, hoping that she could get rid of her current predicament as soon as possible. Tangwa thought about it and gave Empress Dowager Chen a set of techniques that matched her swordsmanship. She didn't need the swordsmanship for the time being, but she could practice her inner strength while lying down. Even if she couldn't defeat the Empress, Empress Dowager Chen had some skills and could escape easily. Qi Shao made clothes suitable for Empress Dowager Chen that could protect her body. Even if she was beaten up, she wouldn't be hurt too much. Margaret gave Empress Dowager Chen some charms. Empress Dowager Chen felt that the cursed charms should be very useful. When the Empress came to torture her again, she would use the cursed charms. The others in the group also gave Empress Dowager Chen all kinds of small gifts. In the end, Tangwa gave her a storage ring. This was a storage ring that mortals could use. It could be used for invisibility and could recognize the owner with a drop of blood. It didn't need to be refined. However, the storage space was only as big as a house. It couldn't be compared to a storage ring used by cultivators. Empress Dowager Chen couldn't take these things for the time being. She could only leave them in the red packets in the group. However, when she found a chance, she could take the storage ring that Tangwa gave her first. Then she could put the other things in the storage ring. It would be much more convenient. Dear host, players have broken into the Purple Tower. Tangwa said goodbye to her friends in the group and withdrew her consciousness. In fact, she was sitting on the throne with the scepter in her hand. She stared coldly at the players below. These players finally broke into the Purple Tower after passing through layers of guards. They didn't expect Empress Sita to be so beautiful. Looking at Empress Sita's beauty, the male players swallowed and looked at Tangwa strangely. Even adults knew what was going on with that look. Because this was the setting of the game, Tangwa's body was set to be more exaggerated. The gorgeous clothes on her body were also more open. However, they didn't dare to go overboard and covered what should be covered. After all, there were underage players here. However, her body proportions were good. Anyone who saw her couldn't help but drool. Riding the wind and moon. So this is the Purple Tower Empress that was teleported? As expected of the best-looking NPC. His eyes were fierce and he looked like he would not be easy to deal with. Love talk. If it weren't for the fact that I have to clear this place, I would really like to try to marry Empress Sita. Maybe I would have a very beautiful memory. Tangwa paid more attention. This player called Love Talk had such a straightforward name. He was most likely a pervert. She had to take care of him when they fought later. Misty lady, you perverts only know how to look at beautiful women. You should think about how to pass this level. After we deal with Empress Sita, we can move on to the next level. Riding the wind and moon. What's the hurry? We've already entered the Purple Pagoda, so we're just staying here for a while. We won't delay anything. Speaking of which, if he could really meet Empress Sita, this trip would not be in vain. Rosa Rubra, are you guys going to do it or not? If you're not going to do it, then I'll do it. The sooner we kill Empress Sita, the sooner we can move on to the next level. If you don't agree, then let's go. Don't delay our mission. Tangwa did not like or hate players who wanted to kill her when they tried to clear the level. After all, this was just a game for humans. Killing NPCs was a basic skill. However, she hated people like Song Lin who cheated on her feelings. Rosa Rubra's words made the other two male players stop delaying. They looked at each other and walked toward Tangwa. Rosa Rubra walked in front of Tangwa and introduced herself. Dear Empress Sita, we would like to borrow the teleportation portal on the 9th floor of the Purple Pagoda. What do you need us to do? Tangwa had thought that Rosa Rubra would be the first to attack. She did not expect her to be so polite, so she had a new idea. Girl, what's your name? Tangwa asked. As a special NPC, her lines were, of course, very special. Rosa Rubra was stunned. She did not expect Empress Sita to speak so strangely when she looked so serious. However, she still said politely, my name is Rosa Rubra. I'm from the God Refining sect. You want to use the teleportation portal? Yes. Tangwa looked at her condescendingly and pointed her scepter into the distance. If you want to use the teleportation portal, it's not impossible. However, you have to do something for me. If you can do it, I'll allow you to use the portal. Chapter 4256. Rosa Rubra had heard that Empress Sita had a strange temper and most of the players who came in didn't have a good time. Since the game started, although there had been people who had played to the later stages, no one had passed through Empress Sita. No matter how many players came, they would be chased out by Empress Sita and even killed back to the beginner's village to be revived. Therefore, when Tangwa said that she had to complete the quest, Rosa Rubra was not optimistic at all. She didn't think that Empress Sita would let her use the teleportation circle easily. However, Rosa Rubra still asked, what does Honorable Gold Empress Sita need me to do for you? She heard that Tangwa said that if she wanted to use the teleportation circle, she had to complete the quest. Did that mean that only those who completed the quest could use it? Tangwa liked people like Rosa Rubra who played the game seriously and completed quests. In fact, the reason why the original owner had awakened her consciousness and then turned evil was because Song Lin, the child of destiny, had touched her with love and won her heart. If it wasn't for Song Lin, the original owner might never have awakened her consciousness. It's not a very difficult quest. I heard that the Half Moon Princess got married and I want to give a gift to the Half Moon Princess. However, I have to stay in Zeta City and it's not convenient for me to go out. Therefore, I need you to help me send this gift to the Half Moon Princess. Tangwa realized that there was a benefit in the game. She could get whatever she wanted. For example, when she said that she wanted to give a gift, this thing appeared in her mind. It was a very exquisite and luxurious gift box. It was decorated in the same style as the entire Zeta City. There were also the words, Happy Marriage, engraved on it. Half Moon Princess? Rosa Rubra obviously knew her. She was an NPC in the game. She had just gotten married to a player called Young Master Song. She didn't expect that Empress Sita was related to the Half Moon Princess. 118-inch. Of course, I'm happy to accept this mission. Rosa Rubra took the gift box. Although she didn't know what Empress Sita was up to, she still wanted to give it a try since she didn't beat her up and even gave her a mission. Tangwa said, go ahead then. Remember to come back and get your reward after you complete the mission. Rosa Rubra glanced at the person beside her. She wanted to say something but Tangwa waved her scepter and threw her out. At this moment Rosa Rubra had already landed outside the purple pagoda. She scanned her surroundings and indeed did not see those people from before. As she walked outside she sent messages to her teammates. Rosa Rubra, this seems to be a personal quest. Love talk, then you go first. We're still inside. Empress Sita will probably give us another task. Misty Lady, this Empress Sita seems to be different from what they said. Riding the wind and moon, Rosa Rubra, you go first. We should be there soon. After we complete the mission we'll go through the teleportation portal together. Seeing that they didn't mind, Rosa Rubra nodded and ran in the direction of the Half Moon Lake. She wanted to leave the city first and return to the place where humans were active. She could find the teleportation portal directly to the Half Moon Lake. In this game Half Moon Princess was also an NPC, but she was much more amiable than Empress Sita. She could get along well with other players. Tangwa glanced at the remaining people. Seeing that they were looking forward to it, she floated in front of Misty Lady. Chapter 4257. Misty Lady, wow, Empress Sita is so pretty. It'd be great if she didn't fight. By the way, won't the officials release some posters of Empress Sita? He's so pretty. Release more accessories. The system could feel that Misty Lady's words made its host very happy. Its energy was increasing very quickly. Misty Lady, beautiful Empress Sita, I also want to use your teleportation portal. I have to complete the mission too? Since she was so sweet, Tangwa decided to give a simple mission to Misty Lady. This girl had good taste. Tangwa, of course. Anyone who wants to use the teleportation portal must complete the mission. Misty Lady, what can I do for you? Tangwa, it's been a long time since I've heard someone praise me so sincerely like you. Now I need you to do something for me. If you stay here and praise me for 10 days, I'll let you use the teleportation formation. Misty Lady was stunned. How could she do that? Didn't Empress Sita say that she was unreasonable and would kill players back to the beginner's village to revive? She was good-looking and gentle and she was also reasonable. Tangwa, what's wrong? Is this mission very difficult for you? Misty Lady, no. I'm very willing to do this for the beautiful Empress Sita. I'm very willing. Compliment her for 10 days. There's no level easier than this. Love talk. I feel that things are not so simple. There's no way she'll let us pass so easily. Empress Sita must be playing some tricks. Qingfeng I feel the same way. Let's see how it goes. If she gives us a mission we'll do it first. If she's unreasonable we'll take it head on. After all, no one had passed Empress Sita's level. Currently, there were no guides about Empress Sita on the game forums and major websites. On the other side, Tangwa was still talking to Misty Lady. Do you know how to write? Misty Lady, of course I will. Tangwa, then you can sit over there and write praises for me. You can read it to me when you're free later. Misty Lady quickly agreed. Wasn't it just a thank you essay? It was a very simple task. This character was really too relaxed. She really wanted to buy Empress Sita's merchandise. Tangwa turned her gaze to the remaining two people. Both of them could feel that her expression had become much colder. What else do you two want? If there's nothing else then leave. This is not a place where you should be. Love Words and Ride the Wind looked at each other. Their lines seemed to have changed all of a sudden. Was Empress Sita such a double standard when it came to gender? Love Words, Empress Sita, we also want to borrow the teleportation array in the Purple Tower. Riding the Wind and Moon, you can assign us missions. Tangwa, I don't need you to do anything. Hurry up and leave or I'll call the guards. The completely different treatment surprised Misty Lady who was writing her essay. Empress Sita didn't seem to like them very much. Wasn't Empress Sita very nice to her and Rosa Rubra? It must be their fault. She remembered that these two people were very popular in the game. Empress Sita probably hated them because she had heard of their reputation. No matter how wrong it was, it definitely wasn't Empress Sita's fault. How could she be wrong about such a beautiful girl? Misty Lady buried her head in writing her essay. She felt that she didn't have enough words. As expected, when it came to writing, one would regret not having enough words. Peak. Chapter 4258. Love Talk. Looks like it won't work. I don't know what happened, but she suddenly changed her attitude. Maybe that's why the players can't pass. I don't know how I offended this NPC. Riding the wind and moon, she doesn't seem to want to give us a chance. What should we do? Love Talk. If we don't try to attack her first, we'll be killed back to the beginner's village. The two of them discussed and decided to attack Tangua. If they failed, they would see if they could sneak in with Rosa Rubra and the others. Tangua had already noticed their actions. She didn't want to kill them back to the beginner's village like the original owner did. Instead, she wanted to beat them down and arrange for the guards to hang them in the Purple Tower City with ropes for all the NPCs and players to see. Because this was a game, Misty Lady wasn't worried about the two of them at all. She even laughed when she saw them hanging outside. This game was very realistic. The personalities of all the NPCs in the game would change as they interacted with the players. Therefore, no one thought that Empress Sita Tangua was strange when she hung the players outside. Empress Sita was very special in this game. Love Talk. There must be a big update. Empress Sita learned a lot of ways to torture people. Riding the wind and moon. What should we do? We can't be hung here forever. Love Talk. Let's see how it goes. Time passed faster in the game world. This was set when the game was launched. Love Talk and Riding the Wind and Moon had been hanging in the game for 7 days. Many players heard about it and came to see them. Some players recognized them and wanted to let them go. However, this was Empress Sita's territory. Tangua caught all the players who came and hung them on the Purple Tower City. It was a very special scene. 10 days passed in the game. In reality, it was only a short while. Misty Lady's mission was completed. Tangua said, "Misty Lady, I'm very satisfied with your compliment, so I'll now give you a God's Scepter. You can use the teleportation portal with it." When Misty Lady held the God-bestowed scepter, she was still a little confused. Was it that simple? After praising the Purple Tower Emperor, she would be able to pass through? If those people outside knew about this, they would probably cry. Misty Lady. Thank you, Empress Sita, for your generosity. May you become more and more beautiful. When she discovered these words, Empress Sita's expression was indeed very gentle, and there was even a faint smile on her face. You're awesome in this game. No wonder she spent 3 years of her pocket money to buy it. She was about to eat dirt, but just for the Purple Tower Empress, she felt that it was worth it. Misty Lady didn't go to the teleportation portal immediately. Instead, she waited for Rosa Rubra. The other two were obviously not liked by Empress Sita. They were still hanging outside. They couldn't get Empress Sita's permission. Rosa Rubra said that she was already on her way back. Half Moon Lake was quite far from here, so Half Moon Princess was more enthusiastic. Actually, Half Moon Princess was an NPC. When Empress Sita suddenly gave her a wedding gift, she didn't react at first. This was because they didn't have any interaction. However, there was a benefit to this game. It would update the data of the entire network, and this data would be integrated into all NPCs. Geek. Chapter 4259. If they encountered a situation that was not set in the game, they would gather information from the big data within a certain period of time and react accordingly. At this time, Rosa Rubra had already accepted the warm hospitality of the Half Moon Princess and returned to Purple Pagoda City with the letter that she had written for Empress Sita. Misty Lady had already told her what had happened to the two of them. She actually did not have a good impression of the two of them. They had just formed a temporary team to enter Purple Pagoda City. There were many monsters and guards at the entrance to the Purple Pagoda. They had to defeat the monsters and guards in order to enter the Purple Pagoda and meet Empress Sita. Basically, very few players entered alone. They would form a team. The number of people in the team was not fixed. It depended on the situation. When she entered with the two of them, they would always comment on the female NPCs and make fun of them. This made her feel disgusted. Although the game had activities for adults such as marriage, some of the activities in the game were similar to those in the real world. However, for these things to happen, they had to be officially married to an NPC. Moreover, monogamy was also practiced in the game. If they liked another NPC, they had to divorce before they could marry the next one. If they were not married, they would not be intimate enough. Nothing could happen. While she was thinking, Rosa Rubra had already returned to the Purple Pagoda with the letter. She saw Empress Sita and Misty Lady sitting together. The two of them seemed to be drinking tea and chatting. She did not understand. There were many players outside the purple pagoda, but Empress Sita was still chatting with a smile. She was indeed different from the other NPCs. Rosa Rubra came in front of Tangua and handed her a letter. Rosa Rubra. Empress Sita, this is the letter that the Half-Moon Princess sent to you. The gift has already been sent to the Half-Moon Princess. Tangua. Very good, I am very satisfied. I want to reward you with a god's sword. I hope that your journey will be smooth. As for why these weapons were all god's sword, that was set by the game company. He just read it out loud. As for what reward to give to the other party, there were only those in the data, so she just gave it to them. Misty Lady was suitable for the scepter, and Rosa Rubra was suitable for the sword. When all the players saw that Rosa Rubra received the god's sword from Empress Sita, they were all stunned. How long has it been? Didn't they say that Empress Sita was very difficult to deal with? The purple pagoda's god's sword? Because of this situation, many players went to the officials to report. The game company was also very surprised. The game had been open for more than half a year. Before today, no one could pass Empress Sita, not even the internal staff of the company. Because they used new technology in the game would grow with the update of the data, and there would be many unexpected endings. Tangua had asked the system to help her secretly control the game. She didn't want to change anything, but she didn't want the game company to find out that her data was abnormal. It would be a pity if such a fun game was restricted. He quite liked being an NPC. Peak. Chapter 4260. I didn't find anything out of the ordinary. I didn't find anything out of the ordinary either. Empress Sita must have collected some information. She must have the most unique personality among the NPCs. It's because of the existence of the Purple Tower Empress that players come in cursing, leave cursing and come in cursing again the next day. There was nothing out of the ordinary with the two players. One of them is a new player, so it's probably a probability event. Observe the situation of the Purple Tower Empress. Maybe she can give us more surprises. A realistic NPC was the biggest success of their game. The officials quickly released the news that there were no bugs in the game. They also encouraged the players to work hard to find a way to impress Empress Sita. Tangua didn't give out artifacts to every player she met and let them use the teleportation portal. Misty Lady and Rosa Rubra were just lucky. In the future, she wouldn't give the players such an easy task when they came in. If she gave out too many artifacts, even if the game company couldn't find any bugs, they would think that there was something wrong with her. A few hours had passed in the outside world. The players who were hung on the Purple Tower had to work during the day. It was impossible for them to stay up all night. Empress Sita didn't intend to put them down. In the end, they all went offline and returned to the real world to sleep. Tangua watched the players' bodies disappear one by one. She didn't control them. She would give them a surprise the next time they came online. Didn't she say that Purple Pagoda City was her territory? How could they leave this place after going offline? You can't do that. 2 pieces of divine equipment were given out in a single day. Discussions about the Purple Tower Queen's strategy began to spread on the forums. Miss Muddle-Headed and Wild Rose received a lot of news. Of course, these players wanted to know how they managed to move the Purple Tower Queen. Those who knew them all came to learn from them. They didn't hide anything and told them about their situation. Then the forum started to discuss again. I didn't know Empress Sita was so narcissistic. Praising her would give me a divine artifact and permission to use the teleportation circle? If I had known earlier, I would have praised her the moment I saw her. Then I wouldn't have been hung on the wall for hours and laughed at by the people I know. By the way, does Empress Sita still know Half-Moon Princess? Are they relatives? I don't think they're relatives. Speaking of which, they're in charge of different territories. They should know each other, but they're definitely not relatives. Giving them gifts is most likely a favor. The tycoons of the real world should also have such relationships. Speaking of which, if we go in and praise Empress Sita, this method may not work. Chapter 4261. Who dares to disturb Empress Sita's rest? We've now. Rest? The players were confused. Do NPCs need to rest too? The game had been open for more than half a year, and they had never heard of the gate of the Purple Tower being closed. So, the fucking game company secretly changed the setting again? Are they addicted to tricking the players? The game company knew how to take advantage of the situation. They knew that the players were interested in Empress Sita. 2 godly weapons had just been dropped, and they were rewards from completing Empress Sita's mission. So they set the bar for the players. The game company, we won't take the blame. The players tried to break in, but the guards couldn't beat them. Just as they were about to break in, Tanguer appeared and sent them back to the beginner's village with a scepter. After a few batches, the results were the same. The players didn't dare to break in. Let's wait a little longer. It's their territory. What can we do? Empress Sita's reaction attracted the attention of all the players in the server. Everyone wanted to find out what was going on. I have to say that the game company is really awesome. I can't do anything about it even though I'm angry. The game company, it's really not my fault. I won't take the blame. The players couldn't break in. When they reached the gate of the Purple Tower, they saw a rest sign. It was funny and speechless. Interesting. I'm getting more and more curious about Empress Sita's performance. Speaking of which, the team that designed this game is also a genius. They incorporated so many new things. The characters in the game, even the ordinary NPCs, feel more intelligent. Have you noticed? That's true. Compared to the programmed NPCs half a year ago, they are indeed more intelligent. Is this the surprise that the game company mentioned when the game was launched? I should say that the data collection is awesome. Look at those intelligent robots. The more you talk to them, the smarter they get, right? However, no matter how intelligent the other NPCs are, I don't think they can compare to Empress Sita. Of course. According to the team, just the design of the Purple Tower Queen alone took a long time. Look at her Purple Tower city, the Purple Tower, they are the most prosperous places in the game. And her character model, isn't it the best? The players who couldn't enter the Purple Tower started to talk about Empress Sita. Even though they were furious, they still couldn't help but talk about her. Empress Sita is so pretty. I wonder if I can conquer her. It would be great if I could marry her. She's definitely different from ordinary NPCs. There were also many players who went to the officials at night to complain. The officials were too deceitful. They actually secretly changed the settings without informing the players. It was only when the game company went to work the next morning that the design team analyzed the problem. Empress Sita has learned how to close the door. She needs to rest. I've checked it. There's no abnormality in the data. She probably took in too much data and figured it out herself. When we first designed her, we put a lot of thought into it. Her stats are different from other NPCs. It's a good thing. Empress Sita's performance is more in line with my original idea. But we still have to observe carefully. If there are any abnormalities, we have to stop it in time. The team even felt that the current Empress Sita's intelligence was like a real one. The game would definitely improve because of this. The apex that you're tuning in to the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.